Salty. I'm stuffing schoolbooks into my backpack the next morning when I see that Dad's Scrabble tile towers have been raised. Spelled out across the desk are 3 words. Love you, Pickle. For one crazy second I think of Safer, that maybe he somehow got in here again when I was asleep, and I'm still staring at the words when Dad sticks his head in. Message from Mom, he says quietly. He tries to catch my eyes, but I don't let him. Right. Safer does not love me, and he does not call me Pickle. Mom's job is officially the day shift, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. It takes her half an hour to report to the next charge nurse on duty and 45 minutes to drive home. If a nurse on the next shift calls in sick, Mom can be held over to work the first half of the 3 to 11 shift, and someone else gets called in to cover the second half. That's called a split. But if they can't find anyone to come in for the second half of the split, Mom has to work the whole 3 to 11 shift, which means she works from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's called a double. We all hated doubles until Dad lost his job. Then Mom started volunteering for them whenever she could. I still hate them, though. Dad's in the doorway again. He's wearing a tie, and his client meeting glasses, with the rectangular black frames. Almost ready? He says in a low voice. We're always quiet before school, because when Mom works doubles, the number 1 rule of the morning is to not wake her up. 1 sec, I say, and arranging the Scrabble letters with 2 fingers, I quickly spell, have a good day, love, me. First period, science. The science lab is different from the other classrooms. It has these old thick wood tables with black marks burned into them, and metal stools to sit on. It's the only room at school that makes me think of all the kids who were here before us. I look at the scratches and the burn marks, and I think about how each one happened on a particular day, maybe 20 or 40 years ago, and how each mark was made by a particular person. Those people are probably scattered all over the country now. Some of them could be dead. Dallas Llewellyn passes me on the way to his seat, saying, "You're right, gorgeous," and flicking the top of my ear with his finger. I ignore him. Dallas is always on the lookout for other people's weak spots so that he knows exactly where to poke them, and if you don't have a weak spot, he'll invent one and poke you anyway. Mr. Landau writes taste on the whiteboard. Taste test, Carter Dixon chants. He's pounding his fist on table 2. Mandy giggles and gives him a thumbs up. Everyone knows that she hopes the taste test will reveal that she and Gabe are destined to fall in love and be together forever. Mr. Landau doesn't hear Carter, or doesn't want to, but sometime next week he'll hand out these little strips of paper, and when he tells us to, we'll all put them in our mouths. The paper is coated with some kind of horrible tasting chemical, so everyone will go running for the water fountain. Almost everyone. Some people can't taste the chemical at all, and to them the paper will just taste like paper. Those couple of kids will be left sitting on their stools and wondering why everyone else looks like they're going to puke, and they'll be looking around to see who else is sitting there with them. Here's the story. A long time ago, the only 2 kids who didn't run for water were a boy and a girl who started dating when they got to high school. People say they got married, but I've never seen any proof. Another year, there was only 1 kid in the whole class who didn't taste the chemical stuff, and he got killed by a drunk driver the summer after his sophomore year. So someone decided that the taste test is the universe's way of revealing fate, love or death. And of course everyone else fell for it right away. Today, Mr. Landau is talking about salty. He's passed around these stale mini pretzels, and we're eating them. We're supposed to chew slowly and take notes about what we taste, without using the word salty. I write down zingy. I think about writing stale or crummy, but I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm not much in the mood for stale pretzels because I just had the double-stacked pancake special at everybody's favorite diner. It's not actually everybody's favorite, but that's what the restaurant's called. Everybody's favorite diner. Dad says the owner is a genius. Mr. Landau asks us to share our observations. When no one does, he starts calling on people. It's salty, Dallas Llewellyn says, shrugging. Mr. Landau sighs. Then he takes this red and white plastic cooler out of the supply closet, puts it on his desk, and opens it. We can see a big plastic jug with ice packed around it. He asks Gabe to hand out some tiny paper cups, and then he walks around the classroom with the plastic jug, filling each cup with a tiny amount of mystery liquid. Don't drink it, he says, just taste. Let it sit on your tongue. He pours a bit into his own cup, leans back against his desk, and tips the cup into his mouth. We do the same. The liquid is salty and cold. It's just salty water, someone says. Mr. Landau nods. But salty how? How is this sensation of salt different from the pretzel? Gabe says, that was dry salty. This is wet salty. But it's more than that. This taste reminds me of dirt, or animals, or skin. I swish around what's left in my cup, thinking, Is it tears? One of the girls says. Ew! It isn't tears. I know what it is. I decide to drink my cup, tipping my head back. Gross! Dallas yells. George drank a whole thing of tears. Everyone starts screeching. Relax, Mr. Landau calls out. It's not a big deal. It's not tears. He looks at me, but I did say not to drink it. Dallas tries for another minute to make it seem completely catastrophic that I drank an ounce of salt water, but the moment has passed. George, Mr. Landau says as we're filing out the door to math, do you have a second? You doing okay? He asks me when we're alone. I'm good, I tell him. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Sensitive moment alert. I knew it wasn't tears, I say. That's just stupid. Right, he says. Where would a person get that many tears? Which makes me wonder, if you took every tear cried by everyone on Earth on one single day and put them in a container, how big would that container be? Could you fill a water tower? 3 water towers? It's one of those unknowable things. There has to be an answer, but we'll never know what it is. I tapped the red and white cooler. It wasn't just salt water though, right? It was ocean water. He smiles. Correct. I get this picture in my head of Mr. Landau with his cooler and his plastic bottles, heading out to Coney Island on the Q train. I figured it wouldn't matter if I drank it. When I swim at Cape Cod, I always drink a bunch of water by accident. He nods. And even if it was tears, who cares? I mean, why are people so afraid of everything? George? Yes? Are you trying to engage me in a philosophical discussion so that you can miss part of math? I smile. My mouth feels stretched out, like it might be my first smile of the day. Maybe. Go to math. Okay. I walk away, quizzing myself. 28 stools in the room, 10 buttons on Mr. Landau's shirt, 4 pencils and 2 pens in the cup on his desk. Uncle. On the way home from school, I stop at Benny's to buy a pack of Starbursts. I notice a pile of chicks, ducks, and bunnies sweet tarts and think about how weird it is that Candy's name is Candy. Not that I'm judging. Benny is chatting, which means I have to wait to pay, because Benny does only one thing at a time. I debate the morality of eating a Starburst before the pack is paid for, and decide not to. Do you know a girl named Candy? I ask Benny when he comes to the register. Sure do, he says, one of my best customers. I give him my dollar and he counts out my change. 75 cents for the Starburst, he announces. A nickel makes 80, a dime makes 90, and another dime is $1. That's another thing about Benny, he always counts out your change back to you. Do you know her brother, Safer? The tall guy? No, like my size. Benny shakes his head. Don't know him. Did you know that she calls this place the Chalk Nut? Candy does, I mean. I didn't even know I was going to say that. It all just seems so weird, how I thought Benny's was kind of my place all these years, and it turns out to be some other person's place too. And some other person might even be one of Benny's best customers, but she calls it the Chalk Nut. He shrugs. That's what it says on the sign. But what do you call it? Me? He cracks open a roll of dimes against the edge of the counter. Like all at work. I'm in the lobby of our building, waiting for the elevator, when a teenage girl walks in with a boy who's maybe 4 years old. The girl is talking on her phone, saying, I'm telling you, forget it. Vanessa holds a grudge forever. Forever. We all stand and look at the arrow that shows what floor the elevator's on. 6, 5, 4, the little kid yells, and then he starts spinning in circles just for fun. I remember doing that. The elevator comes, and we get on, the boy bumping into the walls because he's dizzy from the spinning. He leans back into a corner and looks up at me, all woozy. Knock, knock, he says. Who's there? I say. Interrupting cow. Interrupting cow. Moo! Moo! The kid totally cracks up. He's laughing so hard he almost falls over. Unless he's just still really dizzy. They get off on 2, but the girl's still on the phone. I can hear the kid laughing even after the elevator door closes behind them. My stupid key sticks in the lock, and it takes me 3 tries to get the apartment door open. The whole time I'm fiddling with it, I can hear the phone ringing inside. Hello? Moo! It's actually even weirder than you might be thinking. I sort of shake my head and try again. Hello? It's Safer. Oh, hi. How did you know about the apartment 6A? Come on up. I'm supposed to call Mom or Dad after school so they know I got home okay. Dad has a meeting with a potential big client, but he says it's good news for our potential summer vacation at the Cape, where we always rent a house for 2 weeks, except last summer when we didn't. I call him on his cell, and then I quick call Mom because Dad says I have to. Her number at the hospital is stuck to the refrigerator with a magnet. She sounds tired. I tell her school was good, lunch was good, coming home was good. I don't have a lot of homework, and yes, I will make myself a snack. I don't tell her about Carter Dixon's incredibly stupid new gay test, which has something to do with what finger is longer than some other finger. I run up the 3 flights to 6A. I ring the bell. A thumping sound comes closer and closer, and then the door flings open. It's Candy. There's a long hallway stretching behind her. Grand tour, she announces, pumping one fist into the air. She pivots and marches away from me, leading me down the hall with her hand up in the air, as if I might otherwise lose her. She points as we pass a series of doors. My room, Safer's room, bathroom, Pigeon's room, bathroom, Mom and Dad's room, Mom's photography studio. Quiet, she's in there working. Kitchen, dining room, and here's the living room. It's a big apartment. I wonder if Safer and Candy go to a private school. In one corner of the living room, I see Safer, sunk into a beanbag chair, reading. He doesn't look up. I can see only the top of his head and his legs from the knees down. Safer, Candy shouts at him. Your friend is here. She turns to me. You have to talk loud when he's reading, otherwise he just ignores you. Then she marches away down the hallway. Welcome to Uncle, Safer says. Thanks. You know what Uncle means, right? It's spy slang for the headquarters of an espionage organization. Oh, but I thought your office was in the basement. He makes a face. It's nicer up here, don't you think? I look around at the couches, the rugs, and the beanbag chairs. It's definitely nicer up here, I say. So, have you been practicing? Yeah, at school, a little. What was Candy wearing? Start with the feet. Shoes? Bare feet. he says. What else? Jeans? Carpenter pants. What are carpenter pants? Let's switch subjects. I'm going to train you on the lobby cam. He walks over to the intercom, which is attached to the wall near the kitchen. It matches the one in our apartment, a white plastic square with what looks like a tiny little television screen set into it, and 3 buttons underneath, labeled View, Talk, and Door. I already know how to use it, I say. My dad showed me. You push View to get the picture on the screen, you push Talk to talk to whoever's down in the lobby, you push Door to buzz them in. You know how to use it as an intercom, but do you know how to use it as an observation tool? He pushes the View button. The screen flickers, and then the lobby comes into focus. What do you see? The door in the lobby. What else? Nothing. The floor. Very good. He nods and continues to gaze at the screen. Now what? I say. He takes a spiral notebook from his back pocket, flips it open, and pulls a pen from behind his ear. Now we wait. Just standing here, you mean? Of course not. We can bring stools from the kitchen. Ew! There's a stool in the kitchen? Gross! Candy runs into the hallway from her bedroom. I make a mental note that she is now wearing a sundress and her fuzzy pig slippers. She stops in front of me. Do you know what stool means? What it really means? Cut it out, Candy, Safer tells her. Stool means poop, Candy tells me. It's the real word for it, the one that doctors use. Candy, a woman's voice says from somewhere. Enough! Candy rolls her eyes and disappears into her room. Is that true? I ask Safer while we carry 2 wooden stools from the kitchen. Yeah, he says. It is, actually. We push the stools together in front of the little intercom screen. Safer goes back into the kitchen and reappears 30 seconds later with his flask. Coffee? He asks, holding it out. I tell him no thanks. We watch the lobby door. We watch the lobby door some more. Then we watch the lobby door a little more. Does this ever get boring? I ask. He looks like he can't even believe me. No, he says. It doesn't get boring. Boredom is what happens to people who have no control over their minds. Oh. I tell myself that no matter what, I will not speak for the next 10 minutes. I will not take my eyes off the lobby cam. I will not even look at my watch. We stare at the screen. Every once in a while it goes dark because there's an automatic timer that shuts it off, and Safer has to push the button to make the picture come back. When I am positively, absolutely 100% sure 10 minutes have passed, I check my watch. 6 minutes. Safer is completely intent upon the screen, his pen hovering over his spiral notebook. At first I try to stifle my yawns, but it's hopeless. I'm yawning and yawning. Safer doesn't catch a single yawn. Maybe the coffee helps. I think I'm falling asleep when Safer says, "Look!" He elbows me in the ribs, and I almost fall off my stool, knocking his pen on the floor. I bend over to pick it up, and smack my head against the wall. I stand up with one hand on my forehead. You missed it, Safer says. He snatches his pen from my hand and scribbles in his notebook. He grabs my wrist, looks at my watch, and mumbles, 4:51. What? I say, what happened? 4:51 what? It was him, Mr. X. No way. Way. What was he doing? Coming into the building, with his key. Oh, right. What was he wearing? Was he wearing black? Did he have any suitcases? Of course he was wearing black. I told you, he only wears black. No suitcases this time, but he looked... I wait. He looked like what? Safer clicks his pen a few times. He looked furtive. Furtive, I repeat. It means secretive. I know what it means. Don't feel bad, Safer says. You're still in training, remember? I think about what Candy said, that it took me and Dad 43 minutes to get pizza. A tiny little kid can sit still in front of this thing without falling asleep, but I can't. Something occurs to me. How did Candy know we went for pizza yesterday? I asked Safer. We didn't bring it home. We ate it to Marco's. He looks at me thoughtfully. Good question. Let's ask her. Oh, that's okay. I don't need to. Candy! In 2 seconds, Candy's in front of us. In case Safer decides to quiz me, I take note that she's changed again. Into overalls. Denim, with front and back pockets, and a long-sleeved green t-shirt. She's still wearing the pig slippers. How did you know that George and his dad went for pizza yesterday? Safer asks her. Cup, she answers. He nods. What? I say. It was a cup, Safer says. Were you or your dad carrying one? Then I remembered that Dad had a lemonade from the fountain at DeMarco's, and he finished it on the way home. The cup must have been in his hand when we came in. You memorized what the cups look like at DeMarco's? She shrugs. Everyone goes to DeMarco's. I've been going there my whole life. Well, so have I tell her. Then close your eyes, Safer says. Don't you know what their cups look like? I close my eyes. White, I say, and there's writing. Have a nice day or something like that. Thank you for coming, Candy says. Yeah, thank you for coming. Written over and over in a spiral, and the letters are green and red? Candy claps for me and then heads back to her room. To change clothes again, I'm guessing. Safer nods at me. Now you're beginning to think like one of us. I guess I am. I have to go downstairs to start homework. Safer walks me down the hallway toward his front door. Safer? Yeah. Who's Pigeon? My brother. Is he here? No, he's never here. See you at the next meeting. When's that? I'll be in touch. Which reminds me. Safer? Yes. How did you get into my room yesterday? Oh, I come and go, he says. I don't say anything. Wait, did it bother you? Kind of. Say no more. It won't happen again. I smile. Thanks. Downstairs, I can't find my protractor, which I need for geometry. I go into Dad's bedroom closet, where he crammed all the drawing supplies that used to be in his home office, behind our old kitchen. As soon as I pull the light cord, I see a stack of Mom's nursing uniforms on a shelf, perfectly folded into neat dad squares, with one of her plastic name tag pins resting on top. I decide to forget about homework. I chill out with Sir Ott on the couch and watch some America's Funniest Home Videos instead. When Dad gets home, he looks worn out. We order from the bad pizza place with the yellowy cheese. I tell him I met a kid in the building, because I know it'll make his day, and it does. The phone rings a few times, and Dad goes into his room to talk with the door closed. Maybe it's another potential client. I leave Mom a note with the Scrabble tiles. Wish DeMarco's delivered. Love, me.